Welcome to our spare bedroom. We're going back to Christmas 2023 and finally renovating a room inside the house. This bedroom is actually the only room in the house that's not being altered in some way from our planned building and extension work. So last Christmas we were fed up with being transported back to the 1950s walking into this room and decided it was time to tackle it. Thinking it would be a fairly easy redecoration project, but stick to the end to see the pain this house always likes to inflict on us. But first job was to remove this over the bed storage.
Yes.
Please nothing be in here. No, it's not, it's a magazine.
No. My photo.
Once that was removed, time to tackle the walls. And as nothing is ever easy in this house, of course, there was painted wallpaper, a dado rail halfway up the wall, and even painted wood chip wallpaper that all needed to come off. I did find some of the original unpainted wallpaper behind the radiator, which was quite nice to see, but sadly it had all been painted over, so we needed to get it back to a blank slate. I find the easiest way to remove standard wallpaper like this is to use warm water and a sponge to soak the wall. Give it a few minutes to soak through, then you can peel away the top layer of paint, soak the underlayer again, and use a scraper to easily scrape it all away. Once the bottom section of wallpaper was removed, time to remove the dado rail, which is this bit of wood very firmly nailed into the wall. So getting this off meant leaving a few big holes in the wall we would need to fill in later. And then there's the wood chip wallpaper, which if you have ever tried to remove, you will know our pain. You would have just seen us try and get the wood chip off of these walls. We thought there was only just the top bit along this wall, and that wall, and then we realised it's all over the ceiling. Getting off of these walls was tough but doable. Getting it off the ceiling the way that we've been doing it, by just soaking the walls and scraping, that was going to be back-breaking work. So bought myself a toy. Going to try and steam it, and if this doesn't work, then I might just have to get somebody in to do it for us, because no, my back cannot take that. So let's try and set this up and see how it goes. It comes with a free scraper. Okay, it's turned on. I'm going to leave it for 10 minutes and hopefully it'll start steaming. We can start stripping. Tube is shaking. Oh. There we go, that's steam. We're steaming. It's go time. It's just me now, but I found the best technique. Can you see me? It's a bit steamy in here. But when you steam it, you can't then scrape the paper and the paint off. Well, you can a little bit, but it's a bit difficult. Instead, I found you steam the paper for a little bit, and then I can just peel off this layer of white paint, which leaves me with this paper here. which if you get it wet, it will scrape off quite easily. So I'm going to come back after I've done all the white paper, wet the ceiling down again, and it should come off a lot easier. Just gets a little bit hot in here. I don't know if you can see this steam, but I might have to stop in a minute because it's warm. It's moist. Definitely not a job I could do in summer. This is a winter job only. Yeah, it's a bit messy. The steamer, definitely recommend if you've got wood chip wallpaper, especially on the ceiling. That would have taken us days and broken our backs. It's tough.
Oh dear.
You're a pan!
Oh, no. Ah! No! Oh, it keeps on giving.
Anyway, back to the redecorating. We decided to remove the coving along the top of the ceiling as it was polystyrene, which isn't the most fire safe thing, and we couldn't neatly finish the edges where the wood chip met the coving, so out that came. I then filled in the many holes and imperfections around the room to hopefully give us a nice smooth wall to start the painting. We also decided we wanted to keep the shelves of the wardrobe, as there was nothing wrong with them, and it saved us a few £100 rather than replacing the entire wardrobe. We would just fit new wardrobe doors at some point in the future, so everything out the wardrobe and pull out the doors and fittings. We have made it to a blank slate, finally. Ceiling was a bit of an issue, just because it's an old house and there's cracks from the plasterboard. Nothing to worry about, but it's just a pain to fill and sand. But I think we're in a state now that we can start to paint and get all the stuff back in that's all over my house. So we're gonna give the ceiling a prime and then just a flat, bright white. And then we're gonna give painting these cupboards a go. I've got some, it's kind of a dark blue to match the wall paint that we've got. It's just so the wardrobe can match the room a little bit better. It will eventually have wardrobe doors, but that is a job for another day. We'll get straight on to painting. Hey! So we've just primed the ceiling. Gotta leave that for an hour. So while that's drying, I'm gonna give painting this stuff a go. I think it might need a couple of coats. Can't really tell on camera. Well, you can a little bit. It's going to be patchy, the first coat, so hopefully we've got enough to do 2 coats of it. I'll see you when I finish this. We've done 1 layer of the paint. It's going on very well. I think I've used about half the pot to do all of this. So I think we'll just have enough to be able to do a second coat, and hopefully that will be enough. Try and give you a closer look, because on this camera it looks not too bad, but it is very patchy. Let me show you. Bless you. There you go. How patchy it is. It's, well, not dry. Bless you. Got demon eyes. So I'm gonna let this dry for the recommended 4 hours. And then I'll give it another coat. I am liking the colour. Where it's thicker, This is the colour I do like, so I'm happy with that. It's a few days later and we finished the wardrobe. Well, we've painted the wardrobe. I thought this paint would be kind of scratch proof, but it isn't. Even just while we were painting it, we were painting the back wall and we've managed to scratch it just a little bit. So I plan on getting some sealer and I'll just chuck on a load of sealer and hopefully that will be fine. It is a wardrobe, there's just going to be clothes going into it mostly, so we're not too worried. And of course there will be doors eventually. We have also painted this back wall, kind of an off-whitey colour. You can see that's kind of pure white here. Off-white. It makes a difference in in real life. We've put a few coats of paint on the ceiling. Unfortunately, we didn't fill the cracks very well when we did it, so you can still see. It's kind of a, would you really notice when you walk in the room? With everything else going on, probably not, but it's sort of thing, if you're lying in bed looking up at the ceiling, you'll definitely be able to notice. So come to the very difficult decision to put texture back on the ceiling. So we've bought some textured paint and hopefully just a thin layer of it will just be enough to kind of hide or disguise the badly filled cracks. In the meantime, I'm going to paint these walls, that one and that one. This wall, a big chunk of plaster came off here, so I've just been slowly kind of putting the plaster back. I need to sand this down and put a nicer skimmed layer of plaster onto there. And and we are hoping to replace this radiator because it's one of those really long ones with a more modern, energy efficient kind of a smaller one as well. And we've got a plumber coming in next week. So this wall with the window, we might leave for another week or so, but we just want to get this bit done so we can put all our clothes back into the wardrobe and stop living in such chaos. And then we'd need to do the ceiling. There's only so many clips you can watch of somebody painting. I don't know how interesting that is. Probably not very. So I'll open the paint and show you the colour and maybe a first few swatches on the walls. We'll probably just go to some befores and afters. So this is the colour that we decided to do this room in. Got a lovely big window, gets lots of light, and it's a bedroom, so I like nice, warm, but dark and kind of cosy colours. Let's crack it open and see what it looks like. I like it. I think it dries a little bit darker. Yes, let's put this on the wall. I will just say that I've never used Lick before, the brand of this paint, and I'm really liking it. It's very thick. It should hopefully only need a couple coats. It might need a couple just because our walls are so, as you can see, they are not perfect to begin with. So it might need a couple coats just to kind of cover the imperfections, but I am liking this so far. I've only done that. This is the textured paint that we're going to try and put on the ceiling to hide some of those crack lines. It needs to be quite a light textured effect. I don't want like massive big lumps of texture. It's just to kind of disguise the cracks. I'm going to try it with just a normal roller, see if that can disguise those cracks enough that it just is less obvious when you walk in the room. This is also after a first coat of that blue paint. I'm really loving the finish of the Lick paint. Obviously, user error, missed some areas, so I think it just needs a second coat. We'll do 2 coats just to finish it off properly. I've bought some sealer for the wardrobe, we'll do that. And then hopefully this is the last day, apart from this wall, but we won't worry about that wall. We can finally get stuff back into the wardrobe and get back some of this chaos that's happening out there. Just need to film this because I just stuck the stick in to try and stir it and it feels like cottage cheese. Ugh. That's so thick. This is going to be strange, trying to paint cottage cheese onto a ceiling. Wow. That's definitely something. I'm going to start over there, where if it goes horribly wrong, it won't matter that much because that is eventually going to have wardrobe doors on it and you won't really see it, rather than starting directly above the door where you first walk in. I feel like that's a better plan. So weird. It is exactly like trying to paint with cottage cheese. Oh, this is going to go everywhere. This is going to be difficult. Oh, goodness. So I'm covered in it already. And this is what it looks like. See here, there's just a big lump of it. And then in the corner it's very difficult to get. And then, it's just, maybe I'll just do this corner. Joe isn't here at the moment, so I might wait for him to come home and then we'll see what we want to do. It is also getting white paint all over my freshly painted walls. So that's fun. Yeah, I'm going to be covered in it by the end of the ceiling. So this is a couple of days later. We've done 2 coats on the wall, so this is now completely done. I had a fight with the ceiling. I refused to do it, but thankfully Joe is an angel and did it for us. It's not perfect. It was never going to be perfect. It kind of hides the cracks a little bit. It's just enough of a texture that when you first walk into a room, you don't really notice it. And once all the stuff is in here, who looks at a ceiling that often? I think for our sanity, we're just gonna keep it like that. This is obviously just gonna be a learning thing for us that if any of our ceilings have damage like this again, we just need to repair them properly the first time, and then we won't have to deal with all of this. That is the ceiling done, the walls done, the wardrobes painted. I'm just about to finish sealing them because yes, they did scratch away, but we bought some little sealer that we've done a bit here and it does, I can scratch it and it's not coming off. So that's going to be perfect. Just a little bit less to do on that. And then this room will be done enough that we can put some stuff finally back in it. The only thing that we need to finish is this wall and the skirting. I did want to try and paint it this same teal colour. We also can't do the skirtings because we need to pull the carpet up to be able to get right down the bottom. There's carpet grippers and I don't really want to pull the carpet up and just leave bare carpet grippers out because somebody will stab their foot, I know they will. We've got the new radiator in, which means we can finally finish painting this wall. We have a blind for it already. It's lovely. And we've got some curtains. So as soon as that is all dried and finished, we can put everything up. And this room is almost done. We need to do the wardrobe doors, but other than that. So that is today's mission. This wall in this blue. The wall is now painted. We're just gonna seal off, add a bit of cork along here, just all around the window edge to clean it up, and because you can see there's some wallpaper that we couldn't get off, so we'll just make it a bit neater with some cork. here is the final product. I really love this paint colour. We managed to paint the skirting board and we even painted around the door frame. I think I would like to paint the door blue as well, but we're getting those replaced eventually. So I saved a bit of paint there for later on. We did also get the carpet replaced, so now there's nice and squishy flooring and a perfect bedroom carpet instead of the old and tired carpet that was here before. The wardrobe doors still haven't been done, but they are stood here. And one day I will build a frame and they'll look something like that. But for now, we're happy to just have this room ready for guests. The ceiling is what it is. I really don't notice it anymore. I love this blind that we chose. Just adds that little bit extra in a room that is otherwise very blue. Again, this is all a little bit temporary because we are having the house completely redone. So some of the finishings like the desk and the bedside tables, I would like to level up at some point. But for now, it is just good to have one room done in this house that we feel proud of. And that's the first room in our new house renovated. Even if some things might change during the big renovation, we're so happy with it and proud to have guests come and stay. We're so close to 500 subscribers. You have to click that subscribe to show you were here for the first room makeover. Let me know what you think of the new room in the comments too.